Hey guys, Mr. T here for another one of my ranking videos of the Pokemon by type. So if you're just jumping in, this is the last video in the first half of the series. So I am ranking each of my favorite types and then my favorite Pokemon in those types. So we are in video number 10, or number 10, video number 9. So this is my 10th favorite Pokemon type or my ninth least favorite Pokemon type, depending on which way you want to be counting it. So this one and the next one, in all honesty, I could have flipped them back and forth. I almost did flip them back and forth. These two go hand in hand together, my number 10 and my number 9. Half the time I get them mixed up too. There's Pokemon that I think are one of these two, but then it actually turns out to be the other. So once you see it, you should understand exactly what I mean. So my 10th favorite Pokemon type, the last of my first half, would have to be the rock type. Now, rock and ground, I'm just going to give this away. This is the only time I'm going to give it away. But the ground typing is my ninth favorite. And rock and ground, to me, are almost identical. Like, I get the difference between them, I do, and I understand the nuances. But at the end of the day, they're basically the same thing in my mind. So honestly, they both could have been number 10 and they both could have been number 9. There's not a whole lot of difference to me. And a lot of the Pokemon that you see for rock could honestly look like they could be a ground type and vice versa. So let's go ahead and jump in. So, the quick rules for those of you who are new or anyone who needs a refresher. I'm going to show you 4 Pokemon. The first 3 are going to be ones that I like. We have a pure type, so they're only rock. Then rock is their primary type. And then the next one, rock, is their secondary type. And then that last one is a Pokemon that I'm not a fan of. So, let's go ahead and dive in. So, my favorite rock type, pure type rock is Lycanroc. Now, Lycanroc I never paid too much attention to when I first started playing the Alolan games, but over time I started to really like Rockruff. I thought he was this cute little dog, and then my son started watching the Alolan series, or the Sun and Moon series, and he loved Rockruff. And then when it evolved into Lycanroc, Ash's Rockruff, when it evolved, he freaked out. He thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I started paying attention to that, and I'm like, oh yeah, Lycanroc's actually pretty cool. So then I picked him up in one of the games, and I'm like, wow, Lycanroc is actually legit. Like, this is a tough, strong, good Pokemon. So I started really liking him, and again, I just think the design is cool. I like the Dusk form the most. That's why that's the one on the screen. And he's just a cool all-around Pokemon with good, decent stats and can really hold his own in battle. Plus, Ash's Lycanroc in the series was also really awesome, and that's a huge part of why I put him so high. Now, my next favorite has been one of my more favorite Pokemon. Maybe not a top 10 or top 15, but definitely one of my favorites, and arguably my favorite pseudo-legendary, maybe tied for my favorite pseudo-legendary. And that's going all the way back to Gen 2 with Tyranitar. This Pokemon was awesome. When I caught my first Larvitar up in the mountains, Mount Silver, as on your way to fight Red, it was amazing. And then I evolved him up to a Tyranitar, and I thought, oh my god, this Pokemon's amazing. We have an actual dragon, or monster looking type dragon. I mean, Dragonite looked cool and all, but I still can't get over Dragonite's evolution. I still think, hands down, Dragonair should have evolved into a Gyarados looking Pokemon. Now again, I know the whole story behind Gyarados and the fish and Magikarp and all that. I still don't like the evolution chain for Dragonite. And then we get Tyranitar, and it's like, it looks perfect. From Larvitar to Pupitar to Tyranitar. I just think it was an amazing line. One of the best, if not tied for the best, pseudo-legendary. My other favorite pseudo-legendary, I'm not going to say because, well, he's coming in a later video. But Tyranitar is just solid. I love this Pokemon. Now, my next one, my favorite secondary rock type, is another regional form, and that is Hisuian Arcanine. Now, I thought Arcanine was cool in the original games. I actually liked Growlithe more than Arcanine. But I always liked Arcanine. He was always a cool Pokemon. And then when they gave him a regional form and it looked like this, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, when I found out about Hisui and Growlithe, I made it my mission to go and catch one in the game and eventually evolve it into an Arcanine. And I loved using him. It was an awesome Pokemon. He was solid in battle, and he was fun to just play with and just see. Plus, I also liked how they tied Growlithe and Arcanine's Hisuian form into the actual storyline as well. Now, my least favorite Pokemon, I've never been a fan of this Pokemon. I've always thought it was kind of weird. Plus, other Pokemon similar to him, like Nosepass and stuff that kind of look similar, I've just never been a fan of them. They always look kind of weird to me and almost looked like they shouldn't exist almost. And that's Gigalith. I don't know what it is. I can't get behind the style. I don't know if it's the rocks that are supposed to look like spikes or the face or what. I'm just not a fan of Gigalith. I've never used him in an actual team, never even thought about using him. The only time I've ever captured myself a Gigalith and his unevolved forms was just to fill out my Pokedex. That's pretty much it. I'm not a fan of this Pokemon. And I don't know, and again, like I said, I don't know what it is. I look at him and I'm like, nope, never going to be on my team if I had a choice. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, that's my number 10 list, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, number 9 is going to be ground, because in my mind, they're basically the same thing. So stick around for that video. That video is going to drop really soon after this one, because I figured they're a good pair. Plus, the ground video is going to start my the second half of my list, so my top 9. I know it's top 10, but there's only 18, so we just finished the first half. Now we're going to the second half. So, thanks for watching, and keep it up.